Thank you very much, everybody, for your time this evening. My name is Adam Collette. I am from Vitathreads. I'm the president and CEO of the company. And I'd like to tell you this evening about how we're going to revolutionize wound closure. You may not know this, but right now there is a 10% complication rate associated with suture use. That means 1 in 10 times when a suture goes into somebody, there's going to be a complication, and it's probably going to be a mess. That could be something like a granuloma, a suture extrusion, or a hypertrophic scar. And this is not due to a clinician's failing. This is not due to the shape of the suture. This is due to the material the suture is made out of. Because of that material difference with your body, either through biological or mechanical causes, it is spit out. We're going to deal with that. We at Vitathreads are going to change that and remove that 10% complication rate, especially for skin closure. So, Vitae Suture uses fibrin to make a suture. Fibrin is your body's own provisional wound healing matrix. It's a very intuitive material to use. When you get cut and you need to be knit back up, your body uses fibrin. We're going to use it too. We've patented the technology. What you see in the upper right corner there is a wound that's been closed up with Vitae Suture. It's pristine. There's no suture being spit. There's no heavy scarring visible. What you see in the lower right is a Vitae Suture ready for action. Now, we've taken this on the road. We've talked to 10 different aesthetic surgeons over the course of the past year. 8 out of the 10 of them said, I would love to have your device in my OR tomorrow. Of those, the majority said the place we're really going to see the most benefit right out of the gates for patients is in the face, facial aesthetics. Now, this is a place where it's highly sensitive and it's highly visible. If you have an incision there that spits a suture, it's going to be a very, very awkward situation for the patient. Now, these are patients in elective surgery, for example, 600,000 of them every year. They're paying $3,000 to $7,000 per each out of pocket. There's no reimbursement there. They're paying money to look as good as they can possibly look. As you might imagine, having a suture get spit in that case is completely unacceptable. So we are seeking to charge a fraction of that cost for Vitae Suture to provide a patient with the assurance that they're not going to have a suture spit. Now, we are targeting a U.S. market, which we value at about $180 million. The team is very well equipped to take this to market. I myself have 11 years in the medical device industry, with a portion of that in fiber-based orthopedics and a portion in aesthetics. We have both of the academic founders of the technology on board, Drs. George Pins and Glenn Gaudette of WPI. Our board chair, who spends far too much time with us, Bill Edelman, has been in the industry over 35 years, has a great track record of transitioning companies from this early startup stage on through successful exit to strategics, has a great and aggressive track record with FDA. We've got 2 outstanding clinical advisors on board, Drs. Mark Mofid of UCSD and Dr. Kevin Smith of UNC Chapel Hill, both with private practice as well. We have a great regulatory consultant working with us, financial consultant, and an outstanding legal team, and we're driving hard. Right now, we are seeking to wrap up our prototype production line. I actually have one iteration right here. But we're driving toward preclinical data collection over the course of this year and a filing with an IRB in Q3. We've identified what we believe is a great path to first-in-man data through an IRB mechanism with both of our clinical advisors. And we're hoping to initiate first-in-man studies by end of this year. We're also seeking to transition our manufacturing process to a third party to ramp up for eventual sales. We are also right now in the process of compiling our 510K de novo submission to the FDA, which we intend to submit in Q1 of 2016. Now, our market strategy, as I briefly mentioned, we're seeking to make entry in facial aesthetics. This is really just our initial beachhead, if you will. That's a $180 million market. We'd like to then expand not just to facial, but to general aesthetics, the trunk, the legs, the arms, the breasts. This grows that market with just a basic iterative change by increasing the diameter of our device and the strength associated. From there, we could move into internal medicine and deal with other soft tissues like the lungs, the brain, peripheral nerves, or we could move into drug-loaded sutures, which deliver compounds to actively suppress scar, for example. And from there, potentially down the road, a 3rd or 4th generation product may deliver stem cell therapies to help treat hearts after cardiac infarction. So really, this is not just a one-trick pony. This is a very, very viable portfolio product. Our exit strategy will be through sale to a large strategic. Because we cut across a couple of different fields, there are many potentially interested buyers. We're talking about folks in suture industry like Johnson & Johnson's Ethicon, like Covidien. Folks in the aesthetics industry like Allergan, like Mentor. Folks in the fiber-based device industry like Bard. Or folks in the fibrin industry like Baxter. And because of the nature of these industries, there are multiple exit points available, potentially after first-in-man data, potentially after pre-market approval, or potentially after sales stream establishment. In summary, again, we're going to eliminate the 10% suture morbidity rate associated with facial closure right now. We're targeting the aesthetics market. We are driving very hard toward first-in-man data. We have a 510K de novo pathway identified with FDA, and we are seeking to exit by sale to a strategic. Thank you all again, all for your time, and I will now answer any questions you may have.
My question for you is, I assume your market is hospitals and doctors' practices. Is that correct?
So our market is, at this point in time, private practice and specifically aesthetic clinicians who do largely elective aesthetic surgeries.
Okay, so with that in mind, then this pitch to me seems a little more targeted to the patient. What's your angle as to why a physician's clinic would want to buy into this?
So, the clinic has a couple of different reasons to want to buy in. Firstly, being able to deliver the cutting-edge technology to their patient that their patient is requesting is one thing. Second, a product like ours allows a clinician not to have to make a choice between an absorbable suture that's going to cause an inflammatory reaction and a non-absorbable suture which they then have to remove. So it saves them time and it saves them the strong potential of a poor outcome for their patient. And in addition to that, one of the things that we've actually discussed with our clinicians is that they may be able to market this as a separate line item on their procedure, which would actually save them some money. Typically, they'll bury the cost of the suture within the total cost of the procedure. As a result of pulling us out, they could probably save somewhere between $40 and $60 per each case, which may not sound like much, but oddly enough, we've been advised is enough to drive adoption in some cases as well.
Interesting. Any other question?
Sure. I assume that suture spit is a technical term?
It is a colloquialism.
One of the things I wonder if you're going to try to reach a lot of small, or maybe not so small, but specialized clinics that might want to have higher prices to cover this and maybe whatever else equipment they have that's not going to be at a regular hospital. You're going to need to scale somehow to reach them all, and I wonder if you've tried to partner with anyone in the suture industry.
So right now, we're actually seeking a very focused and targeted entry into the market. We are in the process of identifying a couple of key geographic areas where high procedural volumes typically occur. We're in the process of identifying key surgical centers within those areas and really seeking to identify only one or two key champions within those few geographies, so cities like Houston, LA, New York, Atlanta. And we're seeking to move in a very, very targeted, deliberate, focused fashion for initial introduction of the device and allow their data and their results to be disseminated and to really drive broader adoption by other clinicians. We will, of course, seek to engage strategics as we go, and we will likely grow a small sales force, though our target is really to minimize the extent which we build in that direction. Thanks.
All right, that's all the time we have for questions. Thank you, Adam. Let's give him another round of applause.